Hey, and welcome to Phobos Lab. Now, this is E1M5, and as you can see here, we've got a Spectre wandering down towards us at the start here. It means with a pistol start, we've got a bit of a hurry opening here, because there's a whole bunch of enemies who are going to be charging down at us. We're going to take out all these enemies as they come towards me here. I'm going to try using the barrels here to make the job a bit easier. Just take out all these guys. One thing I love about this level is very atmospheric. When you combine it with the music that this level uses, it's very, very memorable in my opinion. What I love about this level as well is that there's plenty of opportunities to peek into future parts of the level. So for example, as we come around this corner here, you can see that there's a whole bunch of enemies on that side of the wall there. Now we can't get there, and we're not going to be there for another minute or two. But there's a chance here to make it easier later on for us if we sit and take out the enemies here. You can just ignore that completely, but it's an aspect of this level that I really enjoy. Also, this secret's here, very useful if you want to grab the rocket launcher and some blue armor. Do recommend it. There's a whole bunch of hit scanners out here, so we're going to take our time, make sure we get rid of them all before they do any damage to us. I do like this courtyard. I think that there's a nice sense of urgency here because there's enemies up above, there's enemies across the way, there's enemies up close. And as we head through the yellow door here, you can see that there's more enemies waiting behind the door here. So I'm going to shoot the pinky here. So what I like here as well is that once we cross that line dev there, these doors open up, and it's not just this side that opens up. We get ambushed from both sides, and so the enemies on the other side will slowly be making their way over to me. Now, oh, you see they're already here. It's a cool lesson for the player because they learn very quickly here that you can be overwhelmed, and on Ultraviolence it's very possible to be overwhelmed here. So you've got to come into this area with your wits about you. There's a lot of enemies on this level who are placed just to kind of cause you trouble. We're going to get rid of that barrel because, as you can see here, there's a whole bunch of enemies here who are out to get us. That's one of the main themes of this level. A lot of enemies who are just there to kind of catch you out and make you suffer if you're not paying attention. We'll grab the supercharge there. I'll also grab the blue armor up top here. There's no real reason for me to grab this. We have plenty of armor as it is, but not going to send no to free armor. There is a secret area up there, but since we've already got full health, there's no point in going up there. Now this is the area we were in earlier on. You can see there's a whole bunch more enemies here. So imagine if you didn't clear that area out, you'd be absolutely in trouble here. But again, one thing I really like about this level is there's plenty of opportunities to look into future areas, to take out the enemies if you want to. It's a very well designed level in my opinion. It's not a huge level, but it's very tight in design. Like, it folds back on itself nicely at points. Like for example, this passage here will take us all the way back to the open room we were talking about earlier. This is also a very tense room because it's quite dark, and if you're fairly new to Doom, the number of enemies here might overwhelm you. Now the thing as well is because I shot the rockets up here earlier on, again, looking into future parts of the level, I was able to make this much easier for myself. But new players probably wouldn't do that. And then you can see here that switch opens it up so it becomes a full circle level. Now here's probably one of my least favourite bits of Knee Deep in the Dead. I understand why they did this, and I understand that like the flashing lights adds to the tension and the drama here, but for me, I hate it. Luckily in the PC version here, they give you the light amplification goggles. Unfortunately in the console ports, not so kind. They're not so kind to us, so we will have to look at that when we get there in a moment. But there's a hidden wall in the middle here if you don't want to kind of go exploring in the dark. This is that secret room I was talking about earlier. As you can see, it's not that difficult a level. Once you've kind of worked out all the things that you need in the level, it's very easy to make your way through. 3 pinkies at the end here just to kind of add a bit of a roadblock at the end. And yeah, Phobos Lab for me, very fun level. Not super long, doesn't outstay its welcome. It's very well designed in my opinion, and the fact that, like, you know, it offers multiple ways to approach it, because you can either just run through it and take on the enemies as you approach them, or you can take them out ahead of time at certain points. Really well designed level in my opinion. Now we're going to take a quick look at the PS1 version of the level here, because as you can see, it's got a lot of visual differences, and one of the bigger differences is over here. So this isn't a Spectre, this is a Nightmare Spectre, or Nightmare Pinky as I call it. So these are much tougher than Spectres. These actually take quite a few more hits to take down, and we'll be seeing a few of them on this level. But as you can see, the lighting here really kind of adds to the ambience of the level, I feel, and it's no longer a tech base, it's actually more of like a temple, which is interesting. So you can see, yes, that is a chain gunner, and it's not the only one on this level, trust me. There's quite a few that we'll be bumping into before we see the end of this level. So we're going to grab all the ammo inside of here, and then we're going to go back down the stairs. You can see how all the enemies from the PC version are still here. It's just that there's a chain gunner and there's a Nightmare Pinky. In my opinion, it's the pistol starting on this version is a lot more difficult, because it's not really been balanced for the at the start there. You can see you can still aim up there if you want to take out enemies early on. Take out as many of those enemies as we can. I do find this level a bit more difficult in the PS1 version, and probably in the other console versions as well. The reason I choose to use the PS1 version when I'm doing these showcases is purely because it's the more stable version, and I think it looks the best. The lighting, I think, really changes the way these levels look, but ultimately, these Ultimate Doom levels are the same across all of the different ports, so you know, you're getting a good view here of what those ports have to offer. So we're taking out these guys here. Again, more brick aesthetic. We've not really got that tech base aesthetic going on here, which is an interesting change. And you can see there the yellow key. You'll also notice that they've put this body out here. That wasn't in the PC version. I think that's more to highlight that this is even here. There's a chain gunner there. You can see that they are really quite generous when it comes to putting in those those Doom 2 enemies. So as we head into the yellow door here, it's the same thing, two pinkies behind the door. But because we got the chain gun a bit early here, it actually makes this a bit more tolerable. Only a bit, because we don't have that much ammo for it. But as I mentioned, I do find the PS1 version slightly more difficult. So the same trap here. All these enemies will come racing out towards us. So what we're going to do, we're going to take out the Spectres here. Going to grab the med pack. Shoot the shotgunner there. Take down the pinky here. So I'll shoot you in the face. I'm going to quickly show off the secret area up here, because we need the health. Wait, are those chain gunners? Oh wow, there's two chain gunners in here as well. My. There's a lot of chain gunners on this level that aren't here in the PC version. That's one of the interesting aspects of the PS1 version of the game. Some enemies are randomly thrown in, but this means that we can take out all of these guys pretty easily. They can't really hit us if we use the chain gun on them. Again, I'm going to take that out just so I can take, because the last thing I want is them shooting me with the barrel. Take out the imp there. So it's the same deal as in the last version that you saw. Only thing is we got to grab this blue armor here. We do actually need it this time, I'd argue. Same secret out here. So yeah, we're going to head out to the area that's opened up now. So basically you can see it's the same general layout. There hasn't been any heavy modifications to the console version of this level, except for the fact that it looks completely different in pretty much all the texture work. Which I'm guessing is because they didn't want to put the tech base in, which I get because they probably had more limited space, but it's an interesting choice. So we'll take out the shotgunner there. Fun fact, I didn't actually know this secret was here for a long time. I used to just run right through that room and on to the end of the level, but in recent times I've found that secret and it's actually quite useful. It gives you quite a lot of chain gun ammo, which, especially when you're coming down here, is very, very useful. I think one of the interesting aspects of this part of the level is that they haven't used coloured lighting here. This seemed like an area that was kind of primed for it, but I guess they felt this was tense enough. You see, we didn't quite clear out this room, so there's still some enemies in here. There's also the Pinky who's going to come running up the stairs there. There we go. And now we're going to enter my least favourite part of this episode, ×2. Because in this version, as you can see, the light's even slower. And worse still, there is no light amplification goggles in this version. So, yeah. And there's also some, I think there's some Nightmare Spectres in here. So that's something we've got to consider as we're making our way through the level here. So as you can see, we're going to take out the enemies here. Oh god, there he is. Those guys can do some real damage if you don't take them out quickly. Oh. Okay. So I'm just going to show you quickly. Like, this bit's lit up like a Christmas tree, but there's no light amplification goggles here, so it's pretty nasty in my opinion. It's a pretty nasty situation with the player there. And as we enter the end of the level here, you can see same trap as in the original, although I am just going to use the rocket launcher here to take them out. Which do I prefer, the PC or the PS1 version of this level? I kind of like the tech-based aesthetic. I think it goes better with Knee Deep in the Dead's overall look and feel. But I have to say that, like, putting some chain gunners in this level really kind of pushes up the difficulty, because you're not really expecting that. And those Nightmare Spectres are something else, like, especially if they get in on you and start nibbling on you. So, in my opinion, either version of this level is really good. Definitely would recommend people try out the PS1 version of this level if you haven't. Especially from pistol start, it's definitely a challenge. But yeah, thank you very much. I hope people have enjoyed this, and yeah, see you in the next video.